Today's video is a short refresher on the distributive property. First of all, I want you to think about what the word distribute means if we're not in math class. So let's say I was going to go over here and grab these tests. If I'm going to distribute these tests to my math class, what does that mean? Well, you might think, hey, it means you're going to hand them out. Well, sure. Does that mean I'm just going to take them and I'm going to throw them to the first person I see? Or throw them across the room? No. If I want to distribute the tests, it means that I'm going to make sure that whatever I'm distributing, this test, gets to every single student in the classroom. Let's go ahead and look at our examples. If I look at example B, I have this. Now, order of operations would tell us to do whatever's in the parentheses. Well, in this case, it says z plus 11. Well, I can't evaluate z plus 11 if I don't know what z is. Okay? But there is a way that I can get rid of the parentheses, and that's by using the distributive property. So remember, this guy outside the parentheses, in this case the -8, is going to get distributed. That means it's going to be multiplied by every term in the parentheses. You might remember drawing some arrows. We'll do that here as well. So I'm going to take the -8 times z. That's -8z. Then I'm going to take the -8 times a positive 11. -8 times 11 would be -88. Okay, so my answer here is -8z minus 88. And I stop right there because I can't put these together. And the reason I can't put these together from the last video is because they're not like terms. So for now, I'm finished. Okay, let's look at C. In C, I'm distributing the -2x. So I'm taking -2x times x. What happens when you take x times x is you get x squared. So I'm going to get -2x squared. Okay? Time out for a second. You might be thinking, how does x times x equal x squared? Well, if I look at a little aside here, let's say I had 4 times 4. What does 4 times 4 mean? That's 4 squared. Agree that it's the same thing? Yeah. Right? 8 times 8. 8 squared. Yep. X times x, x squared. When we multiply, we add the exponents. We'll time back in. So going to this problem right here, I took the -2x times x and got -2x squared. Then I'm going to take the -2x times 3 and get -6x. Again, I stop right there because x squared and x are not like terms, so I can't put them together. Let's look at example G. Example G has a lonely negative out in front. You will remember from our discussion so far this year that that lonely negative is really a -1. Okay, so the thing that's being distributed is that -1. So I'm going to take a negative times a negative. When I take this negative times a negative, that will turn into a positive y, and then -1 times the -25 turns into a positive 25. I get y plus 25 for my solution. On our last example here, h, the thing I'm distributing is the -x. So I'll take the -x times the x and get -x squared. Then I'll take the -x times the 7 and get -7x. My answer on that one, -x squared minus 7x. That is how we use the distributive property. Please complete the remaining 4 examples out of that section, then we'll move on to the next section. Time for another deep question with Mrs. Davis. Today's question is, why does a negative times a negative equal a positive? Might need some Pepsi for this one. Now, some of you are thinking, well, of course, it's because my 6th grade and my 7th grade math teachers are really smart, and they told me so. Yes, you have it right that they're really smart. However, just because they told you something doesn't mean that that's the reason that it's true. Okay? You want to take the information that you're being taught and make sure you really understand why it works. Okay, so let's think about, why does that happen? Why is it that when I take a negative times a negative, I get a positive? I'm looking forward to some really great discussion in class. Bring your ideas and bring some reasoning so that we can figure out why a negative times a negative equals a positive. In our final section, we have to do some simplifying of different expressions. In these problems, we're going to have to both distribute and put like terms together. Okay, in these order of operations would say we need to handle the multiplication before we do the addition and subtraction. So that means we're going to be using the distributive property first, if needed, and then putting like terms together through addition or subtraction. We're going to do 3 of the examples together. So if I look at my first example, we're going to do m. If I'm looking at m, I'm going to go ahead and distribute the negative 8y. So negative 8y times y, negative 8y squared. Negative 8y times negative 6 is a positive 48y. And then we just go ahead and bring down that minus 20. Okay? Well, I can look at this example right here, and I'm going to be looking for like terms. I have a y squared and a y. We know we can't put those together unless they're exactly the same. So in this case right here, I don't have any like terms, so I'm finished. Okay, let's look at O. In O, we first have to look for what is being distributed. So I'm looking right here, and the thing distributed is going to be the thing that's next to the parentheses. Be careful that you catch positive or negative. So I'm going to go ahead and cover up this 7x to help us see what's getting distributed. What's getting distributed is the negative 3x. So if I leave that covered up, we're doing negative 3x times x. That's negative 3x squared. And negative 3x times a positive 1 is a negative 3x. Now I'll go ahead and write the 7x in front of that. Here we do have like terms. You can see we can put the 7x minus 3x together. So 7x minus 3x is 4x minus the 3x squared. I can now stop because these two are not like terms. Our last example I picked to do is L. I picked it because it has the lonely negative in front of the parentheses. Please, please, please remember that that is a negative 1. So if I cover up the 2, the thing that's getting distributed is a negative 1. So I'm taking a negative 1 times x, that's negative x, and a negative 1 times 5, which is a negative 5. I'll bring my 2 down. I'm looking for like terms that I might be able to put together. I could put the 2 and the negative 5 together. 2 and negative 5 would be negative 3 minus x. That would be how I simplify that expression. You guys have done an outstanding job with these skill review videos. I look forward to seeing you in class tomorrow. Remember, I'm always here for questions. Come before school, come after school. I will help you if you're not understanding. Have a great night.